Hopefully this is working. Facebook has just thrown us a bit of a curveball. They've introduced some sort of new feature on the page, and we're like, oh, is this going live? We're not sure. Hi everyone. Hope you're all okay. Do let us know if you're there. This is actually working, because as per usual, nothing can ever stay the same, can it? They have to change it. Just as you get used to something, they change it all up. So have we got people coming online now?
Yep.
Brilliant. Okay, hopefully we're there. Hi. Happy Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? Oh, I'm all lost this week. I really am. Can't work out what day of the week is it. It's the Happy Tuesday. What are we doing today? We are going to be doing some seminole quilting. I'm going to show you a couple of little patterns and give you some sort of hints and tips, because it was one of the questions that was asked. Sorry, I'm just doing a bit of ironing while I'm talking to you. One of the questions that was asked for our question and answer session, but it needed a bit more time than we could give on that session. So I thought I'd dedicate one for the whole of Seminole. Okay, so well, not the whole of Seminole. We'd be here for like 5 days. You know, just I'd be exhausted. So, but I'm going to touch on a few little bits and pieces for you. Okay. So, who's coming online? Alex is with me today. Josh is dog sitting for my sister's dog, so he's not here. So I've roped Alex in today. Who's there? Anybody there?
We got hellos from Heather, Sonia.
Hi Heather.
Catherine,
Hi Sonia. Carol.
Jean, Kate, Sheila, Claire.
Hi everybody. Hello. Thanks for joining us as usual. I haven't got a daily deal or anything for you, but I am going to tell you about some stuff that's going on over the Easter weekend. So there will be a substantial discount thing happening on our website over the weekend, which we will tell you about near at the time. Just keep you on your toes. But we're also, you know, our Facebook Live auctions that we do. We're going to kind of do a version of that, but we're going to do it all on the website. So it's Sunday at 7 p.m. and I think Sean's going to put like some blurb in all about it later. Sunday at 7 p.m. there will be a category on the website that is called Going, Gone. And all the stuff that we would normally do our auctiony thing with will be on there. There'll be like one of some item. There'll be like 4 of other items. It will be live for a couple of hours. I can't quite remember now. It might be a couple of hours. It might be 12 hours. But it's only going to be live. So it's going to that category will go live at 7 p.m. on Sunday. And it's basically first come, first serve. Because if there's only one of them, we haven't got any more. But it means that you guys can go onto that category, go, oh, I'd like that and I'd like that. Put it in your baskets and check it out. Okay? We could have done an auction again, but frankly, Sarah and I want 4 days off. We've both got sewing to do, got loads to do, but we need some time off. So we're going to do it on the website instead. It also means that if you're not you guys, if your Wi-Fi's not blipping or anything, it means that you're not necessarily waiting for the live stream to catch up. So you can all go on at 6 o'clock. Or 7 o'clock, sorry, at the same time on our website, find that category and pick out whatever lots, whatever items you want. Once it's gone, it's gone. Literally, that's why it's called Going, Gone. It's just like the auction. Sometimes there'll be three of an item. Sometimes there'll be one. Hopefully that all makes sense. They'll be very, very reduced. Basically, I think almost everything is under a tenner. There's quite a lot of things that are under a fiver. So have a little look, keep an eye out on that. Sean's going to give you some blurb about it in the next couple of days, but that will be on Sunday evening. Okay. So any other questions or comments there before we get started?
Heather says you all deserve the rest.
I do need to have a little bit of a lie-in. He's very tired. I had to get a stupid o'clock this morning because I had to take Tom up to the Heath for orthodontist appointment, and even though it's only like 20 minutes away from us, the parking up there is horrendous. So we had to leave at like silly o'clock and then try and find parking and drive round and round. So yeah, a little bit like that today. But yeah, we do definitely need a couple of days of having a little bit of sleep. But thank you. Anybody else there?
There's a hello from Anne.
Hi Anne.
Claire says I'll be buying in the sale.
Cool, fabulous. Yeah, there will be more info going out on our Facebook page shortly. So, I'm sorry, I'm really still very sneezy. Right, Seminal Quilting. So Seminal Quilting, for those of you who don't know, it's based on Native American designs, and us quilters kind of nicked their embroidery designs and stuff and created this style of patchwork. I've used it in lots of different things. We've run a couple of Zoom classes on it as well. We've run classes in the shop on it. In fact, Wendy, if you're there, lovely, if you've got a picture of the bag that you made, I know you didn't do the Seminole with me, but we made your Seminole quilted piece into a bag. If you could pop a picture onto Gigglers for me, because it was lovely, really beautiful. Wendy made the most stunning piece of Seminole work. Didn't know what to do with it, so we turned it into a tote bag. But if you've got a picture of it, I'm sure the ladies would love to see it. I most recently used Seminole Quilting in these, which I took on this one, which I took on a Chanda. Don't know if you guys remember the little Seminole heart pouch. Some of you might have bought it. There was a rainbow one as well, which Sarah very quickly stole. I gave it her. So we're going to look at hearts today, but you can also do things like this. So this is what they call storm. It's the Seminole pattern is called storm, which is like this sort of arrow thing. Okay, I've got this piece here as well, which is very crumpled because it was on the shelf. As you can see, never been made into anything. But this is all Seminole too, so it can be used for bordering quilts, making table runners, all sorts of things. Okay, so you've got all different types of Seminole here. So this is actually called a tulip, which is the wrong way round. This is based on a tulip block, and it's supposed to be like a little flower with leaves. Again, I've used the storm down here. That's one of my favourite ones. And then you've got this lovely like little diamond border. Okay, they're quite intricate patterns. They tend to be quite small pieces, but it's done with strip piecing, so it's not necessarily difficult. It's all done with strip piecing that you cut down, and that's what I'm going to kind of go through, give you some hints and tips. So the pattern for this one is on the website. Okay, so you can buy a pattern for this, and that will give you all the instructions for the heart and to make the whole pouch up. Okay, I've got the patterns for this and this. They're not on the website yet. They will be soon, but they're not at the moment. Okay, they were classes that we did. I'm gonna. Which one should we start with? Let's start with the really easiest one. One I think is easiest, which is this little diamond border here. Okay. What I did, so I'm not going to do all the sewing again for you. I've already cut these pieces down, okay? But they were done like this, and I've done this already to show you the heart start to finish. So you strip piece like this, okay? So you put strips of fabric together, depending on the pattern, depends on what size you put together, okay? And then you would cut this down, okay? And when you cut them down, you get little pieces like this. So depending on your pattern, depends on what colour. You can see that these were 2.5, 2.5, 2.5s. I'd cut them in strips. You know, I'd done a strip of this one and a strip of my background, chopped them all up. Strip of the yellow background, chopped them up, and then a pale green. Okay. I then did something very similar, but with smaller pieces. Okay, so you can see this would have been a long strip. So these were what were they? Let's have a little look. They would have been they'd have been 3.5s, and then a little 1.5 in the centre. Okay. You then put them together. You then sew them together. So you're not just you could just sew them together like that, and you get one look. Okay, that is a pattern in its own right. Okay, like that. And you could just add on your pieces all the way along like that. Okay. And that's a really lovely pattern. It's a pattern in its own right, makes a really pretty border. However, the diamond border, you offset them. So you're going to do this with them, like that. So, is this making sense so far? Are there any questions or comments there, Al? Everybody with me?
There's no comments about this.
No.
Pamela says, I've got that bag pattern, but I haven't made it yet.
Go for it, hun. Go for it. It's a lot easier than people think it is. Okay, so hopefully you can see by offsetting them. So I've just matched that bottom point there with that top point there, like that. Okay, you end up.
Like that.
Got it?
Looks like diamonds now.
There you go. Okay, so you would sew these together and then you turn them. Okay, so when you sew them together, they look like that. Okay, and in order to get them, so can you see there? Actually, let's do that. Let's do that. We're going to sew these together, and then I'm going to. In fact, actually, I'm going to start again because I think we need to start from the top. We're going to start from the top with the strip piece in. So, I think I was jumping ahead far too many steps for you guys. I'm going to make a strip set. This is for the hearts. I'm going to make a strip set. So, I've got a 3.5, a 1.5, and a 1.5, like that, and we're going to sew them together. This one was a 2.5, 2.5, and 2.5. And in order to make the hearts, you need both strip sets. Okay, so we're going to stitch these together. I think I was confusing the issue then by not starting at the beginning. So I'm going to sew these down. So I'm going to put them right sides together, 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to add this one on. So talk to me, ladies. What are you up to? What's going on? Have you got any questions? Did I just confuse the bejesus out of you? Let me know. So I'm just going to stitch these down. So while I'm stitching, please do talk to me. Any other questions or comments there, Al?
Anne says, remember doing this table runner, love doing seminal work.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be really, really complicated. It looks like it's going to be lots and lots of tiny little pieces. It's not, okay? It's all strip piecing, or 99% strip piecing, which you then cut up and put back together. Yeah, and yours was lovely. I remember seeing yours. And who else did it? Was it Nikki did it? And Jean? And I know Erica Lloyd was one of the ladies on it as well. I can't remember who else did it with us. But there were some lovely colours. Really, really nice colours. So I've added that one on. And then I'm going to add this next one on here. Just making a really simple little strip set. Okay. Any other questions, comments there?
A couple of people were saying they were with you.
On that class, yeah.
No, just
right.
Following along.
You were following. That perfect.
Jean
That's okay. I thought maybe I might have been confusing people because I kind of skipped a step. So we'll start with this one, and then hopefully the others I show you, the other patterns I show you, will make a little bit more sense. So here we go. So I'm just going to stitch down this one like that, all the way down. Like that. Now, because I'm going to join this strip set to that strip set, because I ironed this one into the centre, so towards that accent fabric, can you see I've pressed that inwards? I want to press this one the other way so that I can nest them. Seminole really is all about getting those points to match, getting those, getting the nesting right. It works when you've got the nesting. Okay, so let's go down this one, press that out. Like that. See, I've sewn way too much because we're not going to be sewing all of this together. Although I'm really loving these together. These are delicious. These might have to get used for something. Okay, so for the hearts, I'm now going to cut 1.5 inch strips all the way down this. I'm going to subcut them to 1.5. So I'm going to start by trimming my end off and to make it sure it's nice and straight. Doing that, I'm going to line up a horizontal line on my rulers. Can you see they're lined up with those seams there? And just trim off the end. Okay, a little bit more generous than I normally would be, but for camera that works. And then I'm going to cut 1.5 inch pieces. Okay, so 1.5. I'm just going to cut a couple off this. Ooh, there we go. Again, just make sure that horizontal's lined up because it helps keep everything nice and square. Another little tip, if you're cutting lots and lots of pieces off a strip set, every now and then just re-straighten that edge. Just go back to it and go back to re-straightening to make sure, because it's very easy to be like a couple of threads out each time, and then before you know, your strips end up a bit on the bias. Okay, so I'm going to cut 3 of that one, and I'm going to cut 3 of my narrow one. Okay, so again, let's just line that one up, get a nice straight edge to start with, and I want 1.5 inches on this one. Here we go, so 1. And that's all I did with those other colours that I was using. You know, I was showing you a moment ago, and I thought I probably should do this step just to make life a little bit easier. Okay, like that and like that. So you would make yourself, so this is to do the hearts, okay? You'd make yourself some of these pieces and some of these pieces, okay? You're then going to match these up, all right? So you want to do that. Can you see that this line here and this line here is lined up, okay? And that's one of the reasons we did the seams the opposite way, so it nests nicely, okay? And then I'd make another pair, so I'd do that, like that, and I could make a third pair, and you would make as many hearts as you wanted for your border, all right? We're going to sew these together. So I'm going to pop these together, and you really want to nest to that seam. Really make sure it's clicked in, that your seams are going in opposite directions, and Seminole is one of the few times that I really do use pins, okay? Diagonally pin it, so that way I'm holding down this seam, but I'm also holding down the seam that's going to be on the feed dogs, because otherwise it's very easy for those seams to get pushed over, and then you've got all your bulk one side of the seam, and it that'll affect how close your points are, okay? So I'm now going to stitch down. I don't need to stitch all the way up here. There's no fabric, so I'm going to stitch from there down there to join those two. I'm going to do that with these three so I can show you about putting it on point. Okay, so I'll stitch these ones down. Any questions so far? Everybody still with me?
Angela says, would you recommend a bright fabric in the centre?
You can do. It depends on what look you're looking for. So, like with this one, okay, it wasn't. Oh, sorry, Al. It wasn't a bright fabric, but that's because I wanted a much subtler look. But you might really want those hearts to really stand out. I was going for a much more sort of gentle monochrome look with this bag. You can see them slightly more better because the fabric I was using went into darks. Okay, so it's gentler that side but darker that side. So yes, you can use bright fabrics, and I think that some of that is not necessarily bright, but part of it is about getting that contrast of fabric is the word I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm just going to gently iron this one out like that. Okay, I'm going to make two more pairs and join them together. Okay, so where's that piece there? That one's going to go on to that bit there. Flip that. But yeah, hopefully Al can get close on this. Can you see by really nesting that and pinning it, that seam is lined up perfectly, which is what you're looking for. Okay. Always near to perfect, as I care about anyway. There we go. And I like the diagonal pin as well. That does really seem to work. Any other questions there, Han?
Jean says, trying to decide what fabric to use for the Zoom class on Thursday.
Ah, right, okay. You're going to do the block keeper, yeah? Yes, I sent all the... and hopefully you should all have had your emails for that with the cutting instructions and your like Zoom details and everything. I sent it all out last night. Just double check, because we do end up in people's junk folders. There we go. So... I'm going to go in there, and we're going to do this last one. Okay. Now, when you get used to this, you can chain piece all these, and it's really nice and quick. Oh, I've done it again. I keep catching my nail on that one bit. I need to cut my nails. They've got too long, and I broke two of them. I caught them on the machine the other day. Meg's going to have to come and fix them. Okay, right. So they don't look much like hearts at the moment, but they will do. So you would then offset these again. So let me try and do this towards you. Okay, so you'd have like your pairs. Oh, let me just iron this one out. Iron that one out like that. There we go. So you'd have your little pairs like that, and then you would offset these again. Okay, so I would, no, that way. Don't. It's because I was trying to do it upside down for you. So I would then put this one to that corner like that. And then that one to that corner. Okay, so I'm going to stitch those three together. Again, just make sure that those are nested up. I'm going to wing it a bit now because of time element. So, but with Seminole, I think really there's a lot of offsetting of seams. So you really want to read the pattern carefully, because a lot of patterns are on point. So you make them straight, and then you cut them and put triangles on the end to turn them and get them onto point. They use a lot of, they don't, like these ones, don't start as diamonds, they're all squares that you would turn. So that one goes to that one. There we go. Let's pop that one onto there a second. Ooh, come on. Any other questions there? Anybody got anything to tell me today while I'm just doing these little bits of sewing?
Heather says, I'm in a very happy place right now. Sunny day, back door open, watching Seminal.
Ah, nice. Yes, I'm in a really good mood as well because the sun's out. It was really warm out there today. Not like, you know, summer hot, but you just could feel the sun in your skin. It makes such a difference, doesn't it? Right, just press that out carefully. Again, little pieces, so don't be overly heavy with your iron. Okay, so you end up with something that looks like that. In order to get the hearts, we're going to turn this onto point. So, I haven't got any more of that fabric with me. First thing you would do is you're going to use these points here to line up on your ruler. I'm going to have to do this towards me, I'm afraid, but hopefully you guys can see this. So I'm going to trim this down. So I'm going to put my 1/4 inch line along these points. So there to there. Can you see that, Al? So I've got my 1/4 inch line lined up on that point there, on like the top points of the hearts. Like, oh, come back. Okay. Like that. Okay. So when I cut down this now and trim this off, there's my seam allowance. Okay, so that's my 1/4 inch seam allowance. You would actually put, and I haven't got anything here to show you, but you would put, imagine this is a triangle of your background fabric. You would add on a triangle of your background fabric there, okay, to square off that end. Again, it's all in the pattern, but I wanted to show you the trimming bit because the trimming bit is the bit that a lot of people get confused with. Now I'm going to do it using these bottom points here. So again, I'm going to line up my 1/4 inch on my ruler with that bottom. It'd help if it was straight to start with, wouldn't it? Line up with that bottom line there, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, like that. Trim off all that excess, okay? But hopefully you can see those hearts now starting to appear. You would then, like we're saying, have a piece of grey like that, which would be a triangle. Like that, okay, like that, okay, which will make your piece that goes along here. All right, you could make beautiful borders with this. You know, if you wanted something different, if you wanted a pieced border around a quilt or something like I was doing with this one, you know, you could do some really lovely bits. So that's kind of the heart Seminole. All right, that's just a little way of doing hearts. It's very easy, like I said, patterns on the website, which just gives you the full picture tutorial and everything. It's not very easy. It's easier than people think, is what I meant to say, because it is just strip piecing down into, you know, cut, subcut, and then put together. So a couple of other little patterns I thought I'd show you. We're not going to sew lots and lots of them, but I just thought I'd show you them. Was this one, which is the diamond one, and again that would work very similarly to the hearts. So you would lay out your design and whatever pattern it is that you're planning on doing, okay? So I'm going to have it something like that. I'm going to offset them like that. Make my pairs offset like that. And I did have another one somewhere, but I don't know where it's gone. Sew them together, okay? And then once I've sewn them together, you would use your 1/4 inch all the way down like that. Trim off the excess. Okay, so you trim off your excess. So can you see, look, I've got my 1/4 inch here and there. Okay, so when they're sewn together, you don't lose your points. Okay, so there's that one, which is a diamond one. There are thousands and thousands of Seminole patterns out there. This was another little version of the little what they call a floral or a tulip. Okay, and again you can see this is a 4 patch. So if you think about it as a patch like that, okay, excuse me, think about it as a patch like that. It's a little 4 patch with rectangles and a square, and then more rectangles. So it's a bit like a log cabin, you know, but you're going half, you know, one side only. Triangles added either side, and then again cut on the diagonal to get that. So originally that there, like that, would have been the piece that I made with a square and a square, okay? And then cut on the diagonal, and you get those things. A lot of seminole is put on point, so turned, okay, put on point. They do tend to do that quite a lot. This one is the arrow one, and this is one of the few times, excuse me, my nose is driving me insane again. This is one of the few times I would ever press my seams open with seminole quilting because of the bulk on the points. Okay, so this is the arrow one. Again, this was done with strips. In fact, actually, I could probably show you with this strip, sort of. Maybe not. I'll show you with this strip. So this was done. You made strips, but just it with 2 pieces of fabric. So it would have just been 2, a background and a colour. Okay. I'm going to do it on the 3, but you cut this on a 60 degree. Okay, do you remember we talked about that a little while ago about using your 60 degree line on your ruler, like that. Okay. Don't know if this ruler is going to work because this is a bit wide, but hang on, let me see if I can do it the other way. Let me see if I can get it in that way. Yeah, I might be able to do this way, actually. There we go. That's better. So they're cut on a 60 degree, and then you cut, say, 1.5 that way. Okay, so I lined up my, sorry, I did that really fast without telling you, didn't I? I lined up my 60 degree line with the top of the fabric and made my first cut like that. And then you cut down 1.5 inch strips like that. Okay, so you would then offset those and join them like that. Okay, that's basically what I did here, but with 2 fabrics. Okay, so they were cut on the 60, and then you do 60 degrees one way, 60 degrees the other. Again, there's a pattern for these. I'm very briefly touching on this, but then when you join them together, when you're doing this sort of shape, this sort of arrow shape, it's called storm, but it's almost like an arrow, isn't it? When you sew them together, you've got to do the pin method. Okay, so you flip these over like that, and again nest them. It's all about the nesting with seminole. And then you want to make sure, you really want to make sure that those points, in order to get your arrows really nice, put a pin through. Okay, now you could mark 1/4 inch down with your ruler. Okay, so if I nest that, can you chuck me a pencil or something over? Thank you. Where this seam is here, just mark where your 1/4 inch is going to be. It's just one of those little tips. If you find your points aren't meeting, mark like that where your 1/4 inch down is going to be. Pop a pin through like that, through to the back, and just make, and then when you open it up, just very carefully, make sure that the pin, can you see it's hitting that seam right where you want it to. Okay, just, it's a nice little double check for seminole because it's small pieces and it really is all about getting those points right. Okay, just do that little double check, it does help. Okay, any questions, any comments? I'm just chatting today and there doesn't seem to be many questions, or is Al just not reading them out? I'm going to stitch this one down so I can show you. Okay.
Heather says, couldn't make this week's Seminole Masterclass, so do you roughly know what the next one will be?
We haven't done the next lot of Zooms yet, just because we've got so much on. But we will be doing another one. We've done these 3 patterns, so it will be another sort of 3 seminole patterns, either made into a bag or table runner, or you could do it into placemats and things like that. But I don't know which 3 patterns I'm going to do yet. I've got lots to play with. So, but I am going to do another seminole because it's been really popular and a lot of people want like the next step now. So, right. Okay, so with this, I would absolutely, so if you iron this to one side, okay, because of these points are so, like, you've got 4 seams there coming together. You've got this one here, and then both of those 2. You get a lot of bulk there, and it can push your points out. This is, like I said, this is one of the few times I would actually iron my seam open. We don't do it very often in quilting because obviously if you stitch in the ditch and all, it makes the seam quite weak because you're only stitching through your thread, not the fabric. But this really does work with this particular Seminole pattern. Okay, by ironing that seam open, you get a really nice sharp crisp point. Okay, and then you could add these together. So this one would, oh, I've actually done those the wrong way. Oh, there we go, like that. Okay, actually I've done those the wrong way round. Let's put this one onto here. There you go. So then I could add that one onto there, and you can see you've got that background colour going on, which is what happened here. This is very screwed up. Okay, you can see that I've got that lovely hour effect going on. You would then just trim these off. So you'd get rid of these pointy bits, trim it off, and you've got a border piece for either a bag or a quilt, like we were saying. Okay, you can just build these up. Yeah, I've actually done those the wrong way around. It should have been the other way around, but it doesn't matter. You know, you can play around with it. So, without doing lots and lots and lots of seminole patterns, that's really all I can show you about it today. It is it's one of those techniques that I think if you're really going to get into it, it's worth doing a full class with us, because I can show you more intricate things and stuff. I kind of just picked up some ones that everybody could give a go. I mean, I really like the little hearts one. I really like this design. That's why I sort of played around with it and did the little pouches and all to go on a chanda. And I just think, you know, it works really well. You know, it does work well. The lady was saying, I can't remember who said it now, about having a brighter fabric. I do think it works well when you've got a contrast fabric. You really see the designs. Any questions or comments there, Al?
Jean says, do you know what you're doing for her chanda on the 11th?
Yes, we do. We've got a really good multi-buy saving going on. We've got fairies, which if you've already got the subscription box, you'll already have the pattern for, but we're doing some fruit fairies. We've got some placemats on there. We've got there's some boutique jelly rolls going on. There's some fat quarter bundle. I can't remember all of it actually. I was doing the show proposal last night. Actually, I was so rock and roll in bed with my laptop last night. So rock and roll. But yeah, there are some nice bits going on. It should be announced soon. So, anything else there?
Jackie said, I made the one on her chanda, so if I can do it, anyone can.
There you go. Fabulous. Lovely, lovely. It's a nice little technique, Seminole. It's really, you know, I'm really hoping Wendy will be able to put that picture of her bag on, because it's a really wonderful example of what you can do with Seminole. So I might have the picture still somewhere. Might be on my old phone. I might see if I can find a picture of it and put it on for you, if she's not able to. But yeah, it's a nice little technique. Hopefully I answered all the questions that people were asking on the Q&A that we did about how to do Seminole and what to look for. It's all about nesting. It really is with Seminole. The actual sewing and cutting is not difficult. It's all about getting that nesting really nice and neat. So you get neat points, because it gives it an overall better look. So yeah, I think that's everything. I haven't got anything else to tell you. Any other questions or comments there?
Heather says, thanks, another brilliant session. Back
Good.
to work now.
Oh, bless you. Yeah, I can go back to it now and go back over the shop. Anything else there? No?
Freddie says, do you need a smaller length of stitch?
I do it on 2. I tend to sew everything on 2, maybe 2.5. But no, not necessarily a smaller length of stitch. You can if you want to, but I wouldn't go under 2. There's no need to. No. I mean, you do need to be careful, like when you cut your pieces, because obviously you cut through your stitching, that you're a bit gentle with them. Otherwise, you can like pull them apart quite easily. So don't yank them about or press too hard, because you're doing strip sets and then cutting through your stitches. So yeah, don't pull them too hard. But you don't need to go less than 2. Any other thing there?
There's a bunch of thank yous coming in.
That's all right. My pleasure. I will be back tomorrow with the block. And yeah, I'm going to go back over the shop, get some work done, and then hopefully maybe have a cup of tea in the sunshine when we finish, which would be nice. So yeah, I see you all tomorrow, guys. Take care. Bye.